episode of Cooking with Jon Snow. I'm your host, Jon Snow, and today we'll be making wildling chili. Beef chili topped with a beef short rib on top of wild brown rice. The first step to my wildling chili is roasting off my tomatoes. I'm going to slice these tomatoes into quarters, much like I would if I were butchering wild hog. I'll also add it to my short ribs that are already in the oven. I find slicing this tomato is very much like slicing the guts of my enemies. Firm. And my beef short ribs in the oven at about 400 degrees. It's hot, not quite as hot as dragon's fire. I want to let these get just a little browned. I want to let these brown, but not fully cook. The next item we're going to prep are my bell peppers. I've picked them fresh this morning from the garden. I'm simply going to quarter them and then cut them one more time into little eighths. So I'm quartering this onion and then cutting it into eighths. I'm using sweet Vidalia onion, recommended to me by Sir Davos, the onion knight. It's going to go delicious with my wildling chili. So to top off our wildling chili, we'll be adding a little bit of green onion. I've selected some chives today from the local market that are going to go very nicely with this wildling chili. I'll cut it into little small slices of about 1/8, 1/4 of an inch. At this time, pulling out my beef, I'm a firm believer that the man who brings the sentence must swing the sword, so I've butchered this cattle this morning. Let this cool down in my oven.
So why are we roasting the tomatoes?
So the wildlings, they don't have tomatoes of a kind, so I have to use a fresh tomato, and if you're going to make a sauce or a stewed tomato, it's best to roast it off in the oven or over an open fire.
Oh, well that's good to know.
Yes, Tormund taught me that. So at this time I have a nice hot pan. I'm going to add my ground beef to my pot so that I can render down the fat and get ready to throw in my onions and my peppers. I like to use a ground beef with a nice high fat content so that I can render this down and have a little bit of that ground beef fat. This recipe was given to me by the wildlings. Some of their clansmen are known to use human flesh in their chili. We don't have none of that, so we're just going to use beef.
It smells good over there. What
Smell-
kind of beef do you suggest that we cook?
So the type of beef that we use is fairly important. You want something with enough fat in it that I can render that down and make it into a nice savory texture with the rest of my chili. I like ground beef with a high fat content. I'll also be adding into this some beef short ribs that will also give me a nice flavor with that nice bone in there, so you get the taste of the marrow.
Oh, that sounds delicious.
It will be very nice.
So, tell us more about Egret.
Well, I made this meal for her many times. Before she died, before she tried to kill me. She was wonderful. Her hair was red as these tomatoes. Her voice as sweet as these Vidalia onions. But her tongue, sharp as this knife. I don't know if I can love again.
Aww.
I really do appreciate this dish. The wildlings, or the free folk, as they call themselves, have a wonderful culinary tradition. They believe in roots and vegetables and living free, which I can truly respect and understand because of the weight of being a king. But I like to cook my onions and my peppers at the same time. I find that they cook at about the same speed. I'll also add my garlic here in a moment to my ground beef, as it provides that wonderful flavour that the wildlings so much enjoy themselves. Oh, yes. Starting to get the colour I'm looking for. About this time when I start to see my liquid reduce off of my tomatoes, I know they're ready. My beef's been resting, but it's ready to go in with the rest of my chili. As always, I like to continue seasoning throughout the process, adding more salt as I go. I'm also going to add in a few chipotle peppers, which are a new ingredient for me in the United States. They remind me of many of the peppers we had back home in Winterfell. I need to ensure at this time that I've got a good amount of chili powder, a little bit of cumin, and some paprika for that smoky flavor and rich red color. I'll add in a good healthy amount of Dijon mustard, about a quarter cup, a little more salt, and give that up a nice stir. And at this point, our wildling chili just needs to reduce.
What do you mean by reduce?
As it reduces, the liquid in the chili will come off as steam and we'll be left with the flavors and the oils that we're looking for.
So your flame isn't high?
I turn this down, I turn my chili down to a nice low temp at this point, so that all I'm doing is simmering. I need you to tell me if that's ready.
Man, I missed that.
I'm just gonna take the whole pot. It is so good.
I want to try.
I want to try too.
Y'all come on and try my chili. Just remember,
Look at Bree.
this is for the wildlings. It's real hot, so blow first.
Mmm.
Oh my goodness. Just
Oh,
takes me
so
back,
good.
just takes me back to the north of the wall. When you're worried about your life in the hands of the White Walkers, you can always lean on your wildlings and their chili to give you your sustenance.
That's
Well, we're gonna let this reduce down and all of this liquid boil off, and then it'll be ready. And we'll put it atop some nice wild grained rice.
You think you could make this in like a vegan sort of style?
Well, what's a vegan?
Well, you know, you don't use meat or any animal products or anything like that.
No meat?
Yeah, no meat, no eggs, no cheese.
No dairy?
No, nothing like that, yeah.
Well, why would anyone want to do that?
Boy,
I think that sounds like a fool's decision. Action. Andy, try a bite.
So John, you think you could do maybe like a vegan wildling chili?
A vegan wildling chili.
You know, where you don't use animals, you don't use meats,
No meat.
and no animal products like eggs or dairy?
No dairy.
No, none of that.
Why would I do that?
You know, it's a lifestyle choice.
Well, sounds like a fool's lifestyle to me. I need a good amount of meat in the morning to give me enough sustenance. I like to use avocado with my wildling chili to give it that creamy texture that we all love. But I don't want to use sour cream. Sour cream has got too much fat. It's not healthy for you. So the finest avocados in Westeros are found to be Dornish avocados. I can't get my hands on any Dornish avocados in the United States of America. So I have to find these
California?
Californian avocados. Now this time, my wildling chili is complete and I'm ready to plate. Now, I'm no fray, so I like to plate for my guests. We'll give us a nice bed of grained rice. Top my bed of rice. Some of my chili. And one of my beef ribs. I'll top that off with some sharp cheddar cheese, a few avocado pieces, a little bit of chive, and a touch of salt. Ed, come on over. There's your dish.
Thank you.
And you'll need one of these and one of these.
Thank you so much.
You're
Mr.
welcome.
Snow.
You are very welcome. Enjoy. All right, who's next? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Cooking with Jon Snow. I'm your host, Jon Snow, and this week we made wildling chili. Click on the link below and share and like us. Thanks for tuning in.
To the King of the North!
To the King of the North!